As I try to wrap up, Mr Deputy Speaker, in time, there are some challenges facing the dairy industry. And like every farming region, Tasmanian dairy farmers face a host of difficulties: red tape, regulation, the questionable market practices of large supermarkets, fluctuating milk prices and poor weather. But perhaps the biggest issue facing dairy farmers in Tasmania is demand. Meeting the demand, not the lack of it. Let's talk about the carbon tax. Mr Deputy Speaker, analysis undertaken, and I will not take exception to the member for Clare, but I'm not sure that he's got the most recent data as he alluded to this particular topic. But a recent report would indicate to me that the impact of the carbon tax on the average dairy farm is approximately and approaching $20,000 per average farm. That's right, $20,000. Now, the carbon tax leaves its toxic footprint everywhere. It finds its way into the cost of transport and in the cost of energy and water. It finds its way into the cost of machinery and asset repairs, and even finds its way into the cost of fertiliser. A 2010 report undertaken in 2010 to research the impact of the carbon tax on agriculture highlights, and I quote, and this is an ABARES report, I understand, dairy farms are expected to be more affected by the carbon price than any other sector considered. Now, unlike most businesses, dairy farmers cannot simply pass on the carbon tax impost, as you'd all be aware. They are price takers and are mostly at the mercy of multinationals. Farmers generally work their butts off. They toil in inclement weather. They wake every morning to uncertain economic factors and the price of the dollar, and they risk much year on year. And as this industry grows, Mr Deputy Speaker, there is a need for more flexible working arrangements on dairy farms and agriculture in general. To capture the vagrancies of the agricultural sector, it's imperative that we all understand the cost, the implications of labour. Workforce shortages are very much real, and unbelievably, given the data released, as I said yesterday, about youth unemployment, dairy farms are still struggling to attract and keep workers. Unbelievable. And at this point, I need to put paid to the idea that the basic skills of literacy and numeracy don't matter in a job on a dairy farm, because it does matter. We have a great deal of work still to do on this front, making sure that our young people in particular are job-ready. So it was pleasing, Mr Deputy Speaker, to have the Assistant Minister for Education, Susan Lee, with me in my electorate last Friday discussing this very challenge. Mr Deputy Speaker, there are jobs, good jobs, to be had, and working on a dairy farm is more than placing cups on cows and sloshing around, dare I say it, in cow shit. It's also about animal husbandry, developing a business. Farming is not just farming. It is, in most cases, a small business, and far too often this fact is forgotten by too many. In Braddon, most dairy farms are multi-million-dollar revenue businesses. So, Mr Deputy Speaker, I don't want to give the impression that increased dairy production is the economic panacea for the electorate of Braddon. It is not. But it does represent one significant piece of the repair jigsaw, and the benefits to jobs, growth, farm sustainability and profitability, state GDP and flow-on dollars to small businesses in my regional communities who desperately need it should not for 1 minute be underestimated. I thank the House.